Well, the parts for Lou the 4Runner are all loaded up right here. This old girl is going in for a spa day, which means Lou finally gets the rear end she deserves. I made that weird, didn't I? Durable dads, brothers from other mothers, and sisters from different misters, thanks for tuning in. So what's happening today? I am indeed heading into the secret facility, i.e. my buddy's shop, with a fistful of parts that I got from Parts Avatar. I haven't opened the box, and I'm just trusting on faith that the order is complete. So if it is, shout out to Parts Avatar, sponsor. Anyway, what's getting done? Well, the rear end, of course. So we've got a set of brand new Bilstein shocks for the travel. This is 4 inches of lift on Lou, 2 body and 2 suspension. So there's shocks, there's axle seals, which are shot and leaking diff oil into the drum, and hence I'm going to be cleaning up the drums. Oh yeah, that's going to be my job to save me some bucks. Boo-hoo. Anyways, it's a dirty job and somebody's got to do it. So shoes, so axle seals and suspension is what's happening today. Some maintenance on the old girl, which is past due. I'm making the safety first kind of thing. I've done the front brakes. Front suspension is in the works, but I ordered some rotors, sorry. Not enough coffee. Let me fix that. But the rotors were wrong, the shoes were right. So that's hanging fire. Anyways, I called it the secret facility, my buddy's shop, because he's a private guy, and call him the ultimate backyard mechanic. So I'm not going to leak his whereabouts, his price, or his face, because he's not getting filmed today. So what I will try and do is get you as much footage of this as possible. This is a big deal because I want to start hitting some of the more challenging places to get into, and not having the suspension or leaking stuff. There's some seals on the engine that need to get, like head cover gaskets, that need to get done kind of pronto. So I'm on the warpath to make Lou as adventure ready as possible. I'm going to try and film as much of this as possible as tear down. I will give you some gratuitous Mike slaving away cleaning up the totally gross drum brakes. So if you think I'm getting out easy on this one, I'm not. Anyways, forward ho, and I'll catch you next clip at the secret facility. Stay tuned. All right, first snafu of the day. The box opening of said parts yielded 2 Bilstein shocks, 2 sets of rear drum brake shoes, and 1 of the axle seals. Okay, so in the background you'll see I am at Lordco saving the day. They don't usually save the day, but in this case it was easy enough. Lou's not going to have matching seals, but that is entirely fine. So Parts Avatar, I don't know whether this is my fault, but if there was 2 shocks and there's 2 sets of shoes, you would think there'd be 2 axle seals. Anywho, I'm not laying any blame, but I'm glad that they had them in stock. Oh, which reminds me, since I'm here, I might as well go and get another can of brake clean, just in case. Okay, here I am back at the secret facility. I have returned with the missing axle seal. There has been number 2 for today is the parking brake assembly has seized up pretty stiff, and you can smell in the air the smell of a torch, and I heard the dings of a hammer. So apparently my mechanic was not asking, so that's the next up. So I have been instructed to go and clean some parts. That's what I'm up to next. Okay, here's my workstation. There's the shoes, there's the shocks, there's the parts that I need to clean. I've been instructed that if I lose any of these, I'll be killed slowly. So I will be quite deliberate in my action. Here is the shirt I'm about to destroy by doing this. All right, yuck, let's go. Ignore those are from earlier. This, look, all the stuff is piling up, and that is what I've managed to do so far. Better get boogieing. Okay, here's number 3. That's the axle seal we just got. And there's the actual axle seal that came out. Now, Lou may or may not have had some repairs deep in the past that included different axles. Okay, this is entirely possible. So this is why the front rotors didn't fit. And the rear axle seals don't fit. Anyways, shop time obviously includes trips to Lordco in the mechanic's car. Okay, I'm taking my phone's life into my own hands right now. My own very grubby hands. Okay, axle number 2 and plate for the hub is getting cleaned up. This one was gross. So there is suspension done. We're busy working on getting the parking brake to work. Axle seal has been replaced. So after this dirty dog, I get the pleasure of cleaning up those hubs. That'll be nothing compared to what I've just gone through. Okay, I'm going to apologize for the shaky cam, but I am still here at the facility. I have gotten the filthy, but everything's cleaned up. That was a whole lot of differential fluid mixed in, all just caked in. Both parking brake mechanisms were seized, so that's actually being fixed currently. It had to be tapped and dyed. So anyways, still the brakes to go, but oh, and yeah, one more shock. Anyways, it's been an eventful afternoon, and it's running a bit long, but my mechanic's cool, very solid, so we'll have this taken care of relatively quick, and I will feel a lot better about, well, Lou's rear end. Okay, kids, it's all coming together. This took a little longer than expected. A couple of curveballs, but you know what, we're just kind of in the last stretches. The brakes are done, the seals are done, the shocks are done. We're just buttoning it up. Excellent work at the secret facility today. Okay, kids, we're back at the ranch, and it's time to do a little bit of a post-mortem. Okay, it's been a couple of days since Lou and I were at the secret facility getting the work done. Now, that ended up taking almost twice as much time as the allotted time. I was quoted 3 hours, and that ended up taking 5.5. There was curveball after curveball. Okay, first off is that Parts Avatar sent me only one of these, and it was wrong. Okay, so the first step was to recap, was to find the other axle seal. So I took the one that they sent and went and shopped and sourced this locally and got the other one. Now it turns out that was the wrong size, so I had to turn around and take the other one back and get the right size. Okay, that was the first snafu. Okay, and then there was little stuff like gremlins, like a missing bushing that had to be recreated on the suspension on one of the rear shocks. The shocks were changed, okay. The drums were missing springs. They were all packed with differential fluid, which differential fluid leaking and constantly going down and going back into your drums, negates the effectivity. I know the rear brakes are only 30% of your braking power, but now I have 30% more braking power. Yeah, there's missing springs. What else? Oh yeah, the parking brake assembly was completely toast. So when I got the front brakes done, that was pounded out of the way, so it wasn't actually rubbing. But this time it actually got fixed. Now, I don't use the parking brake all that often. It's an auto. So, but that's done and over with. That was one of those things that was on the the wish list of what I wanted to get done. The wish list keeps opening up little cans of worms, and my threshold of the cash that I would spend on Lou and then other basics for camping for the whole channel is kind of a limited pot. So what I wanted to get accomplished this year or this season may or may not actually happen and may get pushed off into next year, but that's cool. I'll have a chance to kind of sit with things. Yeah, the parking brake assembly actually works. There had to be re-drilled, broken bolts, re-drilled, tapped, and died. So it was a whole thing. I didn't get a whole lot of B-roll because I do promise to keep the gear dirty and the coffee warm, but I also like to keep the gear functional, and I don't mind getting my hands dirty, but they were really honestly literally quite filthy, and it was all brake cleaner, and I just didn't want to subject my equipment to all that much kind of B-roll, so you'll have to live. Anyways, I'm going to end this segment with kind of what's happened so far. So since Lou has been purchased, acquired, there's been new rims. I'm burning off the tires that came with those rims. There's been a new battery. The J-clip assembly's been done. So basically custom cross members. So that's super cool, sitting on top of the basket. Interesting experiment. I'll get more into that as I use it throughout the year. And what else? Front brakes. A part screw up with the rotors, so I'm waiting for those to show back up. And rear brakes and rear suspension. So I would love to do the front suspension. That's something that's coming next. But the CV joints are starting, the boots are starting to move up, and that might be something I might as well get done with new CV joints. So that's probably a next year. It would be lovely to have everything kind of tightened up in that department. It's got a couple of leaks, the front crank seal, or the crank seals leaking, and the head or the valve cover gaskets also leak a little bit of oil. Welcome to older vehicles. This is not shocking that this is happening. However, it's something that I would like to keep to get done, so I don't have to go and check the oil vigilantly and keep adding. The diff fluid is a pain in the ass to check all the time, and I definitely don't want to be topping that up. So that might be the big ones for Lou for this season. I might try to get one of those off before the snow flies just to make me feel better, but I might go to like seat covers or little upgrades that are low-hanging fruit. Anyways, that's the post-mortem. The secret facility was humming with lots of curveballs, which we've managed to overcome, however, at added expense. So the cheap part of me is still dealing with that. I will get past it. My mechanic's great and worth every penny, so I don't begrudge it. I just have to adjust and take one of the things that I was planning on getting done for Lou off the table and kind of push that forward. I'll get to an outro in a sec. All right, everyone's up to speed. This has been done. I'm curious as to why I keep getting sent the wrong parts. So in this instant, too small. In the terms of the rotors, too small. Now, I was able to go in and just kind of like check with Lordco, and he was able to source the right parts. So has there been an axle swap? Unlikely. Okay, but this is a limited. It's a kind of a hybrid limited. It does have this the diff lock and the whole deal. So I don't know whether, and I tell the folks at the parts whenever I order something that it is a limited with the diff lock. So I would think that they would get the right parts. But this is two instances where the stuff is just too small. So anyways, I will try to get to the bottom of this. The parts have been done. This might be one of the final Lou segments for the year. she's going to be co-starring in all kinds of my other content. So if you're a Forerunner junkie and just want to see Forerunner stuff, legacy stuff, that's awesome. Watch that. But if you're interested in the outdoors and dad's on a budget and figuring things out without a giant, fistful of cash and being a total gear bro, absolutely check out my other content. You might like it. Anyways, Lou's Garage episode, what is this, number 4? The series continues, although it might be at a slower pace. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me on this adventure. As I advertise, I will keep the coffee warm and the gear dirty. And now that I have a little bit more confidence in Lou, we're going to go hit some of the bumpier roads, getting into some of the gem of lakes that happen to be kicking around in this area. So anyways, I will catch you soon. Peace out, Skep.